One of the things that mindfulness teaches you is a really much greater sense of self-awareness. Because it's all about noticing what's going on moment by moment, a lot of that is about noticing how you're feeling, how your mood changes, how you react to things. And it's in equal measure hilarious and frightening just how our minds can be. So I've got a huge amount of flaws and imperfections, and one of them is being judgmental. I guess, and I hope everybody else is as well, and it's not just me. But when I'm watching the TV, especially if it's on the news or some of the sort of prime time TV programmes, there are just people I like and there are people I don't like. And on the news, I can disagree vehemently with the way that maybe the news is presented or an opinion that the newsreader's saying. And it's to that point where you almost want to shout at the screen, say, that's not right, I didn't explain this, those sort of things. Or just that feeling of, I won't name any names in case it's your favourite TV comedians or presenters, but so and so, oh, I can't stand them, they're so false or whatever. And these are just this constant flow of biased opinions about people. And I mean biased not in the sense that we normally think, about religious bigotry or misogyny or racism or things like that, ageism. I just mean that the mind has somehow or other, and it can only either be genetic, in your genes, that you view people positively or negatively, or it's the way you've been brought up and your life experiences, or the combination of the two. So it's only one of those that can do it. But for some reason, I have got I don't like them, I can't stand them. That's a different, wrong way of presenting things. And it's hugely judgmental, but it's also incredibly unpleasant and unhelpful in your own mind. So that is a trait I have. It's really unnecessary. It's not like shouting at a TV screen changes the people's opinions. It's not like not liking someone on a screen is going to make them decide that they'll do things differently. And you see this even, and I don't do this online on social media, but you see people doing that really toxic sort of comments about people just because they're doing their job or stating their opinion. So anyway, that's one thing that I have a real view now, that I can be self-critical of that. But now I'll learn how to deal with it. Certainly not perfectly, but I'm better at it than I used to be. Another one is I'm an early riser, or a fairly early riser. I'm getting up a wee bit later now through COVID years, and that's probably because I'm sitting down more during the day than I usually am. So anyway, I get up early, but that means I go to bed early, so 10, 10:30. And by 10 o'clock, it used to be that I was Mr. Grumpy. It just turned into Mr. Grumpy. So I'd be getting on fine, relatively patient, cheerful, doing my own stuff or doing stuff with the family. Then comes 10 o'clock and it's tired. Then when someone asks you to do something, you say, oh, for goodness sake. Everything seems to be so much of a pain, or you get disgruntled about even being asked to do something at that time. So that's a classic me, is at that time I get that way and I lose my patience because I'm tired, and I don't want to do anything because I'm tired, and I really don't really want to have a conversation because I'm tired. And that's, I guess, normal and understandable. I do try and use my mindfulness to minimise that. I guess the other thing is being sensitive to criticism. There are people who are said to be thick-skinned. You're never really sure about what goes on in other people's minds. You tend to sort of take your view and transpose it onto them. So I don't know if it's just because I'm sensitive to criticism that I think that everybody else is sensitive to criticism as well, which means all the politicians and all the other people who get regularly criticised aren't really thick-skinned at all. They just hide it better than most. So those are a few of my negative self-critical views, but I'm always consoled is maybe the right word, by interviews of some of the people I really, really admire. And Paul McCartney's one. So I read in a couple of interviews, and I saw him once on TV saying that he really doubts himself. And you think, this is a guy who was part of a band that changed the entire culture of the world, and wrote, and again this is personal opinion of course, wrote in my opinion some of the most beautiful songs and some of them the best rock songs of my lifetime and probably of the 20th century. And has been able to do this for over half a century. And you think, this guy's saying, oh, but sometimes I think I'm actually rubbish now, maybe I've lost my ability to write good songs. And then he comes out with another cracker, and that is some consolation, I think, for all of us, that self-doubt and self-criticism it's universal, it's in everybody's mind, and so we shouldn't pay it too much heed. And of course, as I would always say, mindfulness helps us train the mind to not pay too much heed to this barrage of self-criticism and criticism of others that my mind, and probably many of yours, produces.